Hello, my name is Eve.
Hello, my name is Sarah.
Oh, son of a bitch. Where did that go? What are you looking for?
Dairy-free tapioca pudding at Costco.
It's just kidding.
So I haven't had tapioca pudding since you opened it up out of a metal can like you did the old Del Monte cups.
Oh, Del Monte.
What is freaking out? I almost said my name is Sarah.
Oh my god, almost did that last week.
What is freaking out? My name is Eve.
My name is Sarah.
And we are Burnt Out Perfectionists. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. We are in December, which is the greatest, wonderful time of the year.
I would also say that I made sure that November was too. If you're listening to this, we're actually recording 2 episodes on the same day because we're trying to be productive.
Be productive, ladies. We're trying to pump out said content when it comes to December. So if we pump out the content here, we have time to pump out other content in other places.
Sorry, my mother was just asking me a question, so I just want to clarify before beginning. So last week's episode, we discussed all of the ins and outs, made-up rules, generic things that people like to bring up in holidays, claiming that they are quote-unquote traditions.
Or like the golden rule things, the things where people are like, you can't divert from this. We must do it this way. Fun fact, you don't have to, and you can do things whatever way you want to, and you can change them all the time.
Like, obviously, within legal limits. Like, that doesn't mean, like, go get wasted.
Oh, whatever. I mean, if that's your family's tradition, then go right ahead. Maybe look for a cleanse just like year.
Don't get wasted and drive.
Oh, yeah, please don't do that. There's lots of different programs out there. There's the Red Nose program. I also know someone who personally goes around and posts it on his Facebook, and he will drive people during the holidays. This is the number one time that people decide to just get a little sloppy. And please don't get sloppy. If you choose to get sloppy, there's lots of different services that you can do in different cities. There's like taxis and stuff like that. And yeah, a taxi may cost $55, but it may also save your life. So
yeah, that's what I mean. We were like, oh, you can do things in different orders. I'm like, but drinking and driving isn't no.
Yeah. No one wants to spend the Christmas holidays or holiday season in the hospital. 95% of the time, not even the workers who are there.
My favorite question that I get asked is, why are you working on Christmas? And I just want to be like,
someone has to be here. Judith, someone has to be here. Gotta keep you. We gotta keep the lights on in this place, everybody.
So this week we want to talk about preparing the ultimate self-care winter because we don't believe a lot in like New Year's resolutions.
Yeah.
Just because why are we putting so much weight in January? Like, as someone who's a January baby, veganuary, rude, sober January, I don't drink, but like, everybody's going, or like, I'm gonna go to the gym. I'm sorry, as somebody born in January, I still want birthday cake.
Or they overspend on Christmas, hence they are then broke in January.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, again, please see to the previous episodes that we were just referencing from last week, because it may give a lot of suggestions on things that you don't have to do and fun things, and some suggestions on things that you can do to save time and stuff like that. I know a big thing that I like to do prior to the holiday season, but even after the holiday season, sometimes if you have that like rundown item that got replaced, like say headphones as an example, they don't work anymore, or if they still do work, you got a brand new set. You don't need the other one. Donate it, sell it on Facebook Marketplace. Like, start going through the stuff that you feel that you don't need in the next to bring into 2025. Like, yeah, to me, that's a huge thing, is just like getting as much clutter out as you can.
I think it's good to do it like around this time and before Christmas, even before you like. We talked about like Christmas lists. I don't follow them. I know that might be controversial, but if I go through a big clear out, I try to do it now so that it's like, oh, my plain black zip-up sweater. Oh, itch. My plain black zip-up sweater is very pilly, and there's a hole, and there's a random oil stain that I don't know where.
I was like, I always have stains.
And then it's like, hey, I really want like a new sweater. a new black zip-up sweater, or I really want like going through your slippers and your boots and like even your summer stuff. Like a lot of the time it's like all of like we talked about, I think it would have been 2 episodes ago, like decluttering in general.
Yeah.
So like listen to that episode if you want to listen all about decluttering. But this is more about like build, like you've already done the declutter, or you might be in the process of it.
I do it every couple months just because like I have a kid, and also I feel like recycling like literally just constantly does it, and like there's just more. It's like bunnies in my house.
But then at least like you're kind of getting to the point that you're thinking about like, okay, you do all the declutter, you do all like the cleaning work where you like blow your nose and your nose is full of dust
Yeah.
and stuff like that. This is like the after portion where it's like, okay, I've done all of that. I'm now gonna enjoy it.
Also, like, get rid of those gift bags that you're not going to reuse till next year. Like, getting all that extra kind of like visual stuff out of the way that you may or may not need.
Then also you can keep a tracker of what presents you've already bought, because if you clean your house, then you could find them.
Oh, right. Like, that's the whole thing is like misplacing things or having things in a certain area is always a good idea. I say it every year. Right now, I have a designated area. Do you want to bet they get lost? Probably.
Mine's in a pile in a corner of my room with a blanket over top of it.
Very nice.
Because
that.
I might start wrapping probably in like the next week or so.
Yeah. So something that we've mentioned before too, even when it was decluttering, like we're getting into cozy season, at least where we are. It is colder. I know some people live in warmer climates who listen to this, but maybe like double check that blanket that you use all the time.
Oh my God,
maybe
smell
replace
it.
that blanket. Also smell it, especially if you have animals. They like to put their butts on things.
Same with like pillow covers. Like if so, for instance, we were talking about decorations and stuff in the past couple of weeks, and we just both take them off, like our generic ones that are not seasonal, and put our seasonal ones on. Wash the non-seasonal ones or the seasonal ones before you put them away.
Yeah.
And like it's only gonna be like 2 months, and then you take them back out, or like wash your Christmas blankets. Yeah, if you have Christmas blanket, wash out those mugs. We know that we all quick rinse them. Or if you have the luck of having a washing machine, not a washing machine, a dishwasher, clean them.
Can't even put the cute ones in the dishwasher most of the time. They're like hand wash only, and I'm like, fuck you. I know why.
My life. But a lot of these places, it gets colder, it gets darker. We gotta pull out that duvet.
I think a big thing too that I try to like tell people is like make sure you have lots of lights in your house, but also make sure you can like dim them.
Like, oh my God, have baby lights and have big lights.
Yeah, my husband has lights everywhere. He loves twinkle lights. We have a rope light. We have like all these different things. And that way there's like different levels of light. Obviously, like if you celebrate Christmas, you have a Christmas tree. There's like the ambiance of a Christmas tree. But it's always really good just to like you can like sit down and like read a book. You can sit down and like watch a video. You don't have to constantly be in a state of panic because now it is December and it is fucking go time.
Well, and a lot of the time too, like a lot of lamps and stuff like that, I feel like go on sale in like September because people are like, I'll buy them for the beginning of school.
We're just so random. I think it's for dorm rooms. I think that's where that's
probably
from. Yeah.
But I'm like, I have so many lamps around and they're great. Although I need to move where the lamp by the couch is right now because sometimes if I hit it the wrong way, it makes this like noise.
There's also some too, like I know a lot of people who have those like fancy like Alexa lights and they like set it so that way it's on like a softer light setting versus like I call it morgue lighting. My one light in my bedroom, I'm pretty sure is just morgue lighting, but I got it on sale, so I have no choice to change it. But there's like those little things that you can do. I also like to set up like my kid's room and like make sure like her art area that she has upstairs and like her Lego table that she has up there too, like have those so they're kind of like ready to go. So that way they can like do the things. Another big thing I always like to tell people is if you're keeping it, take it out of the box that it came in. Take it out of the gift bag. Take everything out of those things because if you don't, you will not use it.
Well, and like separate them. Like, I know a lot of people are getting down on like consumerism and making things and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But if you're going through and you're like, oh, I really need a new hair dryer.
Yeah.
make sure that your hair dryer's broken.
Or just make sure, like, if it's not working properly, or, like, clean it. Because sometimes you just need to clean that little back thing on some of them.
I find that a lot of people will be like, oh, I want makeup. I want this, want this, I want this. And then you, like, walk into their house and you're like, you have so much.
Yeah.
Why do you want something so similar to the same thing that you have?
Oh, yeah. And there's, like I said, creating like that cozy environment. So I like to make sure there's like a blanket on every couch. That way everyone's like comfy. I also have learned that throw blankets do not work in my household because we have a tiny human. Tiny human is a cuddle monster. So like, and even the big one is too. So like just being able to like have that flexibility or just like have it when someone comes over because everybody's house is at a different temperature. One of my best friends has her house, I swear to God, 1 degree off hell. Her house is always so hot because they are cold people. And their house is always so freaking warm. And then she comes to our house and she's like, "Oh my God, I'm freezing." And I'm like, "Really? Why are you freezing?" Like, I try to make sure things are like adjustable. I try to like only really keep out the boots and like other things that I'm actually going to use within the next month. Like, so that way there's less of that kind of clutter out. And also, like, there's a lot of people who visit over that time. And it's just, I live in a smaller space. So that gives people places to put their coats and their shoes and stuff like that too.
Yeah. And like I find that our self-care things resolve around, like, we declutter and then we're like, okay, self-care. Like, putting a hair gloss on. I recently dyed Sarah's hair.
Yeah.
So it's like keeping those in track, like doing those types of things. We don't go to salons to get our hair done.
No, we don't.
And like, if you choose to, great.
Yeah.
After the panorama, our
Even before the panorama, I just kind of like gave up on going to.
well, also our middle sibling went to hairdressing school, and they gave me like their Japanese silver scissors and stuff, and I just looked up stuff on YouTube, and like usually most of the people at the cosmetology stores are well, most of them you have need licenses, but also like Sally Beauty and stuff, you can talk to them, and like most of them are really helpful.
Yeah.
I don't want to say all of them, like majority, large majority. I've never really had an issue.
Oh, 100%. And that's the whole thing is like sometimes it'll happen. Also, read the boxes. If you're doing your own self-care, such as dyeing your hair, and you're going to a store like Sally Beauty, I have had it where someone has actually accidentally given me the wrong package. They've put it back in the wrong spot, and you just go and grab it from the same spot. Or it's like there's a different tube inside a different box. Just double check everything.
Also, don't switch it. If you're that person, rude.
Because I accidentally dyed my hair coral one time.
It wasn't that bad. It was just kind of not. I think because it was short too.
100%. One sec, I'm just messaging. He's like, "How long do you think you need? Because I can get all this stuff done before I come get you." I'm like, "Okay."
And a majority of time too, like I like my scalp is really dry. Like, and let's be honest, my entire skin is really dry. I just realized we also didn't do Survive and Thrive. Besides, like, sorry, distract.
We don't have to do that every episode.
I don't think I did my Survive and Thrive last episode.
Did you?
I don't think I did.
Oh, I think it was just about me. Rude.
That's okay.
Hey, eat. What's your survive and thrive?
It's just like, I was like, did I? Because I didn't want to repeat myself. My survive is I've been randomly getting hives off of random things. That's great.
Oh my God, I know. And then I was really scared because my daughter had this rash. If you didn't listen to the previous episode, she got strep, and then she got this like whole body rash. And I was so worried because I was like, oh my God, it looks super similar. And Eve's like, actually, it's the opposite of what she has. But it looks the same, but the opposite thing is happening. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, as long as you don't have that, then that's great.
And like, it's been like, I came home from work one day and I was like, oh, I just randomly hives. So I was like, I don't even know what it's from. So that's my survive, and my thrive is Christmas.
Today, when we're recording, is Wicked Day.
It is Wicked Day. Also, like, I just like, I don't know. The season brings me joy, and I got to watch a lot of Hallmark movies, and it just makes me thrive.
Oh my God. Okay, before we hop into more things, can I have your view on Merry Gentlemen?
Okay, I will say, I love Chad Michael Murray. Chad Michael Murray shirtless. Not mad about. My issue is when obviously not a producer, never done anything like that. No, there's a lot of work into it.
Mhm.
I found that the storyline lacked. Like, I feel like there was, like, could have been more investments in
Yeah.
the storyline, and it was just like, we're not gonna do a lot in the storyline, and then we're just gonna be like, abs. And I was, like, sitting there like, "Oh my god, I want memories." I'm gonna say spoilers, I don't really care. It's not, like, an important, life-changing
So if
movie.
you don't want to listen, like, skip ahead a couple minutes.
I wanted to know, like, I wanted flashbacks to the rhythm room, like, when she was a kid.
Thank you.
And, like, when she was growing up, and, like, how did her sister meet her now husband?
Who is adorable.
He seems like a great friend. Also, the Little Spoon was that's the diner. The Little Spoon was owned by someone previously. I wanna know, like, how did the sister come to that decision? She hasn't, like, the main girl hasn't been there in a long time
Yeah.
and stuff. And I'm like, "Okay, so Chad Michael Murray is just, like, assisting as, like, the workman." And I'm like,
How did he become this trusted handyman amongst the entire town? Also, I would like to meet more townspeople.
also, like, within 3 days, I wanna know the guy that sits at the bar story.
Oh, so funny. So that guy used to be this, like, huge actor back in the day.
Literally, mom was, like, pulling up pictures showing me.
So, like, oh my god, it's this fun. There's this, like, I think they call it a cult movie because I don't think a lot of people watch it, but, like, it's a movie that I actually, like, really love, and some people are like, that is the stupidest movie I've ever seen. That's the weirdest movie I've ever seen. It's this movie, and it's called Empire Records, and it actually stars, like, Liv Tyler, and there's, like, a ton of people in this movie. And, like, people who became famous even, like, later, like, Berger from Sex and the City is in that.
Mhm.
Like, tons of people are in that, and, it's just, like, one of those, like, I don't know, it's just, like, a fun movie. It's fun to watch and stuff like that, and he's in it, and he's, like, this creepy-ass pop star, and he has the most annoying song in the entire world. I'm not gonna sing it, but, it's, like, that type of thing. And as soon as I saw him, I'm, like, looking at him. Ben goes, "What?" I'm like, "It's bugging me." He's like, "You're gonna Google it, aren't you?" And I'm like, "I'm gonna wait and see if I can figure it out." Then when he was dancing, he did one of the moves that he does in Empire Records, and I went, "Oh my god." Ben's like, "What?" And I show him, and Ben goes, "I don't think I've ever seen that movie." And I was like, "Oh, really?" He's like, "Yeah, I used to watch it with, like, one of my friends all the time." And I've watched it with other people too, so, yeah, it's really funny, like, he was in it. Originally, I was like, "Is that one of the guys who was, like, known to be, like, a Chippendale dancer? Like, is that the irony?" And it wasn't, but there's 2 guys who are really good at dancing, and Chad Michael Murray, as adorable and sweet human as he is, he has, like, frat boy dance moves.
Which, like, again, love Chad Michael Murray, love him.
But, like, he chose to literally take off his shirt in 5 seconds after being this shy boy handyman.
Also, like, the taxi cab driver, I'm like, "Oh, that sounds great." Like,
I wanna know his story. He is so fucking talented. Why is this guy in this tiny town? Why is he only driving a taxi? How did he become so talented?
I'm like, "Where did..." Also, what does Amy look like?
I know. His ex or whatever, she had, like, glasses, a toque, and all this other shit on, and then you got, like, a 5-second spiel about her, and that was it.
It was like she just decided that she didn't wanna live there because of the work. Also, secondary question, what is Chad's family? How is he a woodworker? And I know his dad was a woodworker.
Yeah.
But I'm like,
Can we also just, like, touch on the point where usually Hallmark blows this stuff out of the water and pulls out these, like, amazing woodworking skills, and this was, like, some very simplistic shit.
like, it was cute, love the table. But I'm also like, the landlord, who I love because it's Mom from Wizards of Waverly Place.
Yeah.
I'm like,
How was she not in that more? I love her.
I love her. What was her story?
The mom and dad. The mom and dad is the mom of the main girl is Zelda from freaking Sabrina the Teenage Witch, and the dad is the dad from that show that Michael J. Fox was in. Not Growing Pains, but it's like something like that.
Literally. And I'm like, all of
I was like,
people are great.
also, the main girl, what the fuck are you using on your face? Because I know you haven't had work done. She has looked exactly the same since she was 11 years old in that freaking show where she finds her adoptive parents who had her when they were teenagers and then gave her up.
Mhm.
Like, she literally hasn't aged. And I was having a really hard time computing because this was a WB show that she was on and they would play it. It was called, like,
The Secret Circle.
Life That Matters. Oh, she was also in The Secret Circle, but this is a different one. And then right after, because, you know, it had some saucy content, One Tree Hill would be on. So, like, in my mind, she is 12 years old and Chad Montgomery is like 18 years old.
But, like, I'm also equally as confused because she was wearing a wig the whole time.
Oh, that wig was not good.
And, like, her sister, I've seen her in a million things.
Oh, no.
too.
Her sister, if there are any millennials listening, her sister played Stephanie's best friend, Gina, in Full House. And Gina was a badass. She was the one who Stephanie would like, I'm going to get into these car with these older boys that I know. And DJ's like, no, you're not. Shuts her down. And then she's like, you're so lame. She's like, I'm going to tell dad. And she's like, no, you're not. She's like, I'm not going to let you get into that car. I love you too much. And she's like, oh my God, you're being such a cow type of thing. And she's like, Dad. So Stephanie doesn't end up going. Well, that's the episode where Gina and those boys get into a massive car accident and Gina's in the hospital.
Mhm.
And literally, I always remember her as that. And she popped up throughout the whole series. She even popped up in Fuller House.
Oh, yeah, quite a bit because she married the vet that DJ was with for a bit.
So there was like that whole thing. So like literally, I was like, there are so many of these people. Like, I know so many of these people. And I was very surprised, like, how much they didn't go into stuff. They could have told, in my opinion, they could have made that into an entire series. And my husband
like Passion Lily.
Yeah, my husband was like, oh, from the previous, it looks like it's going to be like the Magic Mike version of like a Hallmark movie type thing. And I was just like, but it's not. And like what they're doing it for is for like a specific reason. And yeah, there was so many things that I felt like maybe were left on the cutting room floor. Like that could have been I'm like, also like, is there gonna be more where you find out other things? Because I don't know how the hell they got all of these people in one movie and like did it where it was just very like plain. Like I have seen more intricate plots in Hallmark movies where I cannot name a single fucking person in that movie.
Oh my God, like the one with Joshua Bennett where they're all in part of the same house.
There's
Not that movie.
it's like I'm like Netflix. I'm addressing you directly. You can pop the fuck off with Court Overstreet and Lindsay Lohan.
Mhm.
And Lindsay Lohan's new one that's coming out with, I don't know his real name. I just call him Ezra from Pretty Little Liars. That movie looks really good too. Obviously, I know that they have a higher budget because I don't think Lindsay Lohan's doing things for cheap. Like, she's a mom. Like, she said her priority is her kid and her family and stuff like that. But, like, they had the budget to do all that other stuff. And these people maybe won't charge as much, but you could have, like, gone so much more into the story. Like,
So it was like 3 days in, I'm going to buy you a gold wreath necklace. And I was like,
I know, I was like, that's different if it's like, I'm going to be here for the next 6 months. And then you kind of see things develop over time for 6 months. But I was like, if somebody gave me a necklace after 3 days of knowing them, I'd be like, congratulations. And here's the notice from the police. Thank you for being a stalker and good day.
I was so. Also, there was no point where it was like, oh, go deliver. It was like, go deliver the lunch to him in a barn where he's doing woodworking. And then it's like, do you want to dance? But then also, it's like she dances once and it looks like a knockoff Rocket stage.
I think that's what it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be like the Rockettes.
So you could have had a bigger stage. It was given Mean Girls.
It was giving like off Broadway.
And then it was like, oh, City Girls. And I'm like,
Well, and then they kicked her out and you didn't know if it's because she was old. Like, there's so many things. Anyways,
it was like, come back.
This is one of those things where I would like take the plot and then like expand it out and write an entire story in my brain.
No, I would do like a series and each book follows like a specific couple. So like the first one would be like knowing the parents and stuff.
Yeah, and like everything that they built in this apparently historic site.
Netflix hit us up. We got
I know,
ideas.
right? I've got ideas. I mean, like, I'm sorry. I'm always down for Chad Murray taking his shirt off, and you can just tell me that I'm gross or a barbarian or whatever. I love that man. I will watch him in everything. But like, for a man that had to convict so many emotions as Lucas Scott.
Also, could he have a new name?
Also, could he have a better song? Because I mean, when Nathan did his little striptease to Run DMC, when I hear Run DMC, it's tricky. That is the number one thing I think of is him and Skills.
Oh my God.
Oh, and Mel.
I love Mel.
But yeah, that's our PSA about that. I've watched like a ton of those. My husband is obsessed with those Hallmark Christmas movies. He thinks they're adorable. And fuck, if they're a series, I end up watching them all day. Like the Princess Switch ones.
Oh my God. And like the I also just love that like we were looking at the streaming services that we have and we were trying to find a Hallmark movie that we haven't seen.
Oh, Christina Milian. Thank you.
Oh my God.
Her movies are so good. She just has a new one that comes out on Netflix. And literally, to me, that's going to be in like the roster with like the Santa Claus. I loved that new movie. And then I watched another one yesterday because, it's from like 2019. Amazing. Loved it.
Oh, she's great. I also feel like I wouldn't want to be your friends with her fashion friend.
100% underrated singer who was totally pushed aside for no reason, in my opinion.
Hot Frosty.
So cheesy.
But I kind of loved it.
It was so cheesy though, but I mean, like, it's the guy who, what was his name? Josh in 90210? And then she's Gretchen Wieners.
No. To the people who've watched Schitt's Creek.
Yeah.
It's the vet.
It's the vet in Schitt's Creek. And then there's, my husband was baffled that this woman was a side character that maybe had 7 minutes of playtime. The mom from American Housewife.
Oh my God, I know. She's my favorite human.
She played the sister, which I know she was on Mike and Molly, and she was like, to me, she was the main character.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Melissa McCarthy and the other guy were great, but like, I loved her. And she was in this show. Isn't Caroline Ray in it too? Like Hilda from Sabrina the Teenage Witch? I feel like there was like several people where I was like, oh, hello, what are you doing in this as a random side character?
I'm also thriving with the Hilda and Zelda in all of them because Hilda and Barbara Jean are like two of my favorite humans.
Oh, Caroline Ray's one of the funniest people ever.
Like always.
Yeah.
Sorry, real distracted by Christmas movies, which is a part of my self-care.
No, that's the whole thing. It is part of self-care. I think another fun thing that we like to do is my husband grew up with the tradition on like Sundays or like sometime on the weekend, making time for, they called it pop and chip night. So they would sit and like collectively all choose like one movie, when you had to go to like Blockbuster or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And then you would sit down and you would just like, obviously there's no devices then, but like you would sit down and like save that movie that you want to watch and you would all watch it together. And now I can do that with my Whirly Pop because I love that thing. It's so delicious.
Oh my God, I didn't want to break the news to you. It was at Costco.
Yeah.
It was only $25.
That's a different one.
Is it a different?
So there's different levels of it. The one that I got was the stainless steel one.
Yeah.
The one that's at Costco is the aluminum one.
I didn't know there's different types of whirl.
But also mine came with like a whole starter kit. So it came with like 2 or 3 movie packs. And then the other thing that it comes with as well is my husband bought me for this for my birthday. I've wanted it forever because air pop popcorn does not work. It always ends up burning and I'm like never happy the quality. And this is like the most old school thing. I even believe it says that it's Amish construction.
I think it does.
Yeah. But if you buy the pack, at least the one that my husband got on Amazon, is you can send away and they send you a whole bunch of other shit for free too.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, sweet. He hasn't done it yet. Friendly reminder, if you haven't done it already, please do it now, Benjamin.
On free things.
I love free things. And it comes with like a popcorn bucket and like more of those like the movie salt, like the fake butter flavored salt or whatever. I just buy I think it's called Nutivia or whatever. It's coconut oil, but it's flavored like butter. And you put it on, except I clearly did not understand the ratios that he used because I made it and had the essence. And I definitely wanted more of the flavor. And it doesn't make it like, because you cook it in that oil, it like actually goes into the popcorn and it's not soggy.
Yeah.
I don't like soggy popcorn.
I don't mind if my hands are like a little bit glistening, but I'm definitely not one to be like, no. I definitely I like a sweet little treat. And I'm going to say that a sweet little treat.
A sweet little treat.
Because everybody's like, oh, it's the holidays. I need to make sure to watch my waistband. Get bigger pants. Literally.
Like, just accommodate for it. Just live your best life.
So I am a massive diehard for caramel brulee lattes.
Oh, yeah.
It is the biggest joy of my holiday season. You can laugh. Yes, I pay money to get a fancy latte every morning. Not every morning. Most mornings. It brings me so much joy.
Yeah.
And like, same with hot chocolate. And I was having this whole conversation with my coworker about it. Because like, we used to have more like chain coffee restaurants, but like the coffee restaurants.
But they've all been taken over by chain ones.
No, like the smaller chain ones.
Yeah.
Have been like, we basically just have Starbucks and Tiffany's.
And we have like 40.
Oh my God, like every corner.
Like every corner.
And so I get my caramel brulee latte, turkey sage Danish, delightful. That's my little self-care in the morning. Perks me up a bit. And then when I come home from work, I'm like, our mom like will set the recording for a bunch of Hallmark movies. and like we turn all the lights off and like we pick random ones. And like if there's not a Hallmark movie, that's okay. We just watch other shows.
Yeah. And it's not just Hallmark. It's just like those cheesy holiday movies and not the ones that were in the theater, just like the random ones that you find on like Prime. You find them on your subscription services.
Yeah.
They don't even have to have anybody famous in them.
No,
Sometimes those are the better ones.
ooh, love Andrew Walker. But like majority of them I'll watch and I'm just like, oh, this is so great. Like I'm already paying for the services and stuff. Like sometimes I'll make popcorn, sometimes I won't. Sometimes I have a bag of chips, a whole bag. I'll have some chips,
Yeah,
and stuff, and like I'll just sit there and enjoy them. And then I don't leave. Like I was talking to my mom about it. Like so many movies, I leave and like I just like I'm like my brain hurts.
I know. I don't need to think. Sometimes I just need like a little brain turn off moment.
Like I don't need like I can only if Grey's Anatomy was on more than once a week, couldn't handle it.
Yeah, no,
Because it's like,
it's an emotional fucking roller coaster.
it's all the way back to Riot.
Who are you about to take out?
I'm going to be honest, I can't name half of the new people.
Neither can I.
I still don't like Teddy. I'm sorry to the actress who plays Teddy. I just don't like her. And like, I try to watch it and I'm like, okay, great. But then it's like you miss an episode, you're lost.
Oh, and my least favorite thing is when they do the whole thing where they like collaborate with other shows and then you've got to keep up with another show in order to get a storyline and then I'm out.
Oh my God. It's
I tap out at that point.
when they were doing that with Station 19, I guess they can't do that anymore because Station 19 is canceled.
It was canceled, but like, I'm sorry, if you're going to be putting it on a freaking streaming service, what it should be is the episode that you have to watch. And then it's like, we suggest this from this TV show because it was a crossover. Is that so hard to write into the algorithm? Because like, all of a sudden you'll go and then next thing you know, it's like the hospital's on fire and you're like, what the fuck is going on right now? Where did this come from?
Also, to Hallmark, and to Netflix, can we make the recently added a different color? Like, can we make it white and red? Because I'm getting excited thinking it's a brand new release, and I click on it and it's from 2017.
Oh, you know what my most annoyed thing is? And I know that there's different options and stuff like that on social media to have different, like you can put up like 3 thumbnails and then it'll rotate, for example, on YouTube.
Mhm.
They're doing it where they constantly change the cover and I think it's a new Christmas movie and I've already seen it.
Oh my God.
And I'm just confused. Also, when you say recently added, don't put new. Because then, like you said, it's like, it might be from 2017, but I might be like, oh my God, is that the new movie with blah, blah, blah? Oh, no. Like, oh, okay.
Also, like, the series, when they change things, oh, like, I will sit there and then I, like, will literally just turn it off and, like, start crocheting. I'm like, I'm done. Which, oh my God, recently, so, like, in the past week or so, I had a couple days off and I was like, you know what? I want to craft. This will be my crafting session. I made that bow crochet thing.
Oh, it's so cute.
To everybody who has bigger fingers, as moi, don't use your fingers to hand crochet. Use 3 pegs on a loom.
Well, and that was the whole thing is I was looking at that and I was like, oh my God, that reminds me of like what we used to do in Girl Guides where they would like take a tin can and like tap some nails in and then you would like loop it in and out, which is like, that is what I thought a loom was. And then I found out like you can actually buy fancy looms.
We got a whole box of them.
Oh yeah, we have a bunch of them because we pick them up at thrift stores because a lot of people get like real excited and then don't do them and donate them.
Oh my God. But literally, it took me like 5 seconds. You just make a tube. It's very uniform.
Yeah.
And then you tie it into a bow.
And I don't things like that are popping off on Etsy right now. I know that Anthropology has this like bow garland that's ribbon, and there's a lot of people who are like making different ones or finding dupes. But like this one Eve made, and it's super freaking cute.
I'm just going to keep adding to it as I do it more. I needed to remember to bring a rectangular loom upstairs because I just have the circular one. Will say though, if you do it too tight, sometimes the pegs just go. Boop.
I'm gonna quickly just delve into like personal self-care items and things to look out for during the holiday season because we know those gift sets and everything like that go out, right? And sometimes those gift sets are huge savings, and then other times they'll be like Boxing Day sales that start somehow December 15th, and I don't know how. But all those other things, I will like stack up and pay like 50 cents for like a mask at Sephora. Just a fun mask. I'll just like put it in, if you know you're not allergic to it. I'll like put it in a basket so that way I have them throughout the year. And my husband laughs every single year. I wait until like January or February. And it's usually Superstore or Shoppers Drug Mart will have these giant boxes of like the body loofahs.
Oh, yeah.
And they'll have like 12, sometimes a 24 pack of them. And I wait till they go down to like $3 and I buy them. And then I do not have to buy them. Like I still have 6 left and I change them out all the time because you're supposed to, because it's gross. And
They feel like Dead Scouts.
oh yeah, also they like fall apart. Like there's nothing worse than when you're doing it and it's like, bruh. You're like, oh, it's just falling
Or
apart.
sometimes when you're like about to put soap on it and there's like, you can still see the soap and you're like,
It gets to the point
Nope.
where you're literally retying like the plastic to like try to make it into a loofah again. Yeah. Another thing that I found too is like erasers. If you're not using like a reusable razor or whatever, it's different things. There's all these little things like the lotion packages that you can get. I'll buy stuff like that when it's dropped down to like $7. Because why am I paying $7 for one bottle of lotion when I can have enough lotion for the whole year?
oh my God, same with gift sets for shampoo.
Oh yeah.
Like I got one for Verb and it's like a clarifying set. Great. Like obviously don't clarify your hair every day.
No.
But then I have so much shampoo and I'm like, this is great. I don't need to go shopping for shampoo.
And there's like those little things and stuff like that to make sure that you have like also like don't put a ton of weight on yourself for things that you need to get done daily and you're not being lazy when you're sitting and thinking of a million things. You're allowed to have chill times. You're allowed to like chill out, hang out, put that nail polish on even if it's going to chip in the next hour. Like,
Oh my God. Also, heads up, after like beginning of January, prime time to go to the thrift store.
oh my goodness, there are so many things that get donated, whether it was like a gift that somebody didn't like, or whether it was like someone got like, say, like their version of like an upgrade or whatever, or some kid got a start. There are so many things that you can get.
Yeah, like even now you can, but like same with like a lot of people get rid of blankets. I'm on like blanket hoodie DIY.
So am I. Like that girl who takes everything and makes it into a cute coat or a hoodie.
And I'm like, this is great. I
Also,
love this.
there's so many times where she like takes old sleeping bags or all these other things that people had at like sleepovers when I was a kid. And I'm like, that's such a cool idea. And then I'm also like, I remembered when like Janie peed in that. Like, there's also probably lots of smelly memories in some of those, but like there's also like that some of the things are like really cool. Like she took this duvet cover that was this Disney one that almost everybody I knew had, and she made it into like the cutest jacket. And I was like,
Yeah.
wow, that's awesome. It was like a little like bomber jacket.
Or candles or like plates.
Oh,
Like dishware.
candles. Candles are always at the freaking thrift store. Same with like candle holders or baskets. Or folks who decide to reorganize everything in their house and they donate out of their organization items.
Oh my God. So I
Oh, no, appliances. That's a big thing is appliances.
bread makers.
Oh, so many.
I got like I usually will go to TJ Maxx's and stuff, and I have these containers underneath my sink that hold like they're like the little shelves and stuff. Yeah, and the exact same one at the thrift store for like $4.
You were so excited.
I was like, they're matching.
I love when you find stuff like that, like things that you already use because somebody else decided that they didn't need it anymore.
Like hobbies. I would love to see a hobby thrift store. Like that doesn't have clothes. That solely is just like, hey, I want to learn how to do punch needling, and it's like wonderful. These people donated this. This is a pack of how to do punching.
Right? That's the whole thing. Is just having stuff like that I think would be cool. Yeah. I do more organized thrift stores. Sometimes they're really, really organized, and sometimes they're a shit show.
Sometimes it's kind of fun though when they're a shit show.
Sometimes it is, but there's a consignment store that I went to, and they organized everything by color.
Oh, that's rude.
And it drove me nuts because I'd be like, oh my God, this is so cute. And like, I want to say 95% of that store was a small, and I was not a small at that time and not happy about it.
Also majority of like my self-care involves like drinks. So like I try to make like fun mocktails
Oh, yeah.
at like night if I don't want like a cup of tea or something like that, or
Yeah.
trying new teas, or new hot chocolates.
I was about to say, I stock up on tea and stuff like that. As soon as it gets cold, if it's getting cold after 6 p.m., my husband wants tea. My child wants cocoa or tea. She's a big lemon tea fan or like other fruit teas. So I always like to make sure I have stuff like that. Sometimes, you can like get the Twinings person that shows up at Costco at the roadshow and you get 4 packs or whatever for like $10. And that's like ridiculously cheap because they're huge. But just having those like little extra things around is always nice.
Oh, also, tip out for the people who are currently baking chocolate chip cookies. you can freeze them. And then I shocked my coworker. I was like, oh yeah, sometimes I would make too many, like, if I know I'm going to have too much dough.
Yeah.
And I know that, like, Sarah's not going to be here for, like, a week or two. I stick it in the freezer. And then whenever I want a fresh cookie, you hop it in the air fryer.
Right? Like, you can freeze dough. You can also freeze cookies. I always suggest freezing dough over freezing cookies, but I'm that weird person who's like, it tastes like freezer.
It also depends on, like,
What type?
do your education on how to freeze things.
Yeah.
And how cold your freezer is.
Yeah.
Because half the time, the Ziploc bag doesn't do it.
Or, like, if you got things that have an odor in your freezer or in your fridge, like, maybe don't put it next to the onion. Just saying.
Yeah.
Because it may taste like essence of onion.
Or, like, if anything randomly, like, stops working and it's just, like, tomato juice.
I think a big thing is just making sure that you stop like putting, so there's so many like things that people start like putting on their brain, like, oh, I should be doing this, I should be utilizing all this, I should be this. Please go to our previous episode of all the things that you don't need to do, all the things that you feel that you need to do. You can say no, and you can take that time to chill. You can make that, you can, instead of, loading that instead of loading the dishwasher at that exact time that you feel that you need to do during the day, why don't you just, like, you can sit down and do a craft. You don't need to buy the...
I put the dishwasher on and do the...
I know, but, like, there's no order in which you have to do things. You can figure it out and kind of go from there. And I know a big thing is, I talked about this before in previous episodes, but, like, seasonal affective disorder is real. So if you can remember, which I'm not the best, but, like, maybe talking to your doctor if you need to take more supplements, or if you need to there's some people who need to adjust medication that they take and everything too, based on the season, if you're affected by light. I know some people suggest those light therapy lamps. It did not work for me. It annoyed me. It was so bright.
They're aggressive.
Some of them have different tones, which is great. But other ones, like, also, like, I didn't like just sitting there in front of a light. Like, I was like, why am I sitting here? This is weird.
It also is distracting, because if you're on the computer and you're like, light.
Yeah.
Light.
Well, and you have it, like, sitting there, and sometimes people are like, well, yeah, you just shut everything off, like, read a book while you're sitting there. And I'm like, the light hits book weird. That could just be my brain, though.
No, I'm also against the tone of different book lights and stuff like that. Also, self-care is very, like, individual.
Mhm.
Like, I might say, like, going through my bathroom stuff is self-care, because I know then at least, like, what I have and what I can use, and I'm not keeping things that I'm like, oh, well, I'll use this. And then I'm like, actually, I had an allergic reaction to that. Why am I keeping it?
Also, like, some days you may have, like, all the energy in the world and be able to declutter and do all this other stuff. And other days you may be a potato, and it's okay to potato.
I'm a potato. And on that note, always stay warped and twisted as ever.
Peace.
Thank you so much for listening to us on YouTube. You can find us on all of the socials: Instagram, Pinterest, TikTok, Facebook,
Snapchat. But if you're more of a, like, just an audio type person, we're on Spotify Podcast, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music. I think we're on Pandora, iHeartRadio, and you can also check us out on the RSS feed.
Thank you so much for listening, and feel free to go re-listen to some of the episodes that we have.